We should be going live. Are you ready for nothing to go wrong at all? Nothing's gonna go wrong.
Yeah, I'm ready for nothing to go wrong.
Enough has gone wrong already that I feel not with the stream, just generally.
True, yes. I do really like that version of your avatar with
Oh,
the
thanks.
mask. I should
You
do one for
should.
me.
It would look great. It would suit you. Well, that's rude.
Oh wait, are
Yeah,
we
we are
live
live
now?
now.
Oh, I've seen it. We're live. Hello, people.
I've got the stream on high latency.
Oops.
I've got the stream on high latency, so that if the internet goes fuzzy, it should still hold out. But that does mean that the chat is a
Okay.
bit further behind us than it usually is.
Okay, that's good. Can people hear this? If you can hear this, write boobs with eights instead of
They
B's.
can hear. I'm sure they can hear this. It's fine.
Can you hear this? Come on, come on. I want to interact with people because interaction is rare these days. It's a
Oh yeah,
commodity.
hey guys, humans.
Humans interact with us. Yeah, we're getting lots of things. Yeah. Oh yeah. Someone's mentioned. Yeah, I've changed the meme from give Stu money to give food banks
Give
money.
food banks money.
Yeah, because
Give
I'm nice.
Kanye West money. He needs more desperately.
No.
So,
I'll try to tweet the string. It's not working. Bloody
oh,
thing.
that's the thing that's gone
Anyway,
wrong.
so we're here. There, that's the
We're
thing that's gone
here.
wrong. Anyway, we're here.
That's the
Hello,
thing that's gone
Jay.
wrong.
We're
We're
talking
here.
about Doctor Who again.
We are.
Yeah, boobs, boobs, boobs. We're getting lots of boobs.
We've decided
I like
that on a relatively monthly basis, we're going to do retrospectives on old Doctor Who, and it's going to be fun. We've first on our. I don't want to say chopping block because it's not always going to be negative, is it? It's going to be positive a lot of the time.
There are some good things because we are Doctor Who
Yeah,
fans.
um, but
That may be not come across sometimes because as Doctor Who fans we complain about
well,
everything.
as you know, the more you care about something, the more of a vision of what you want it to, the more you have a vision of what you want it to be, and the further it will stray from that. Well, may stray from that.
That is true, and this has been going on throughout Doctor Who's entire history.
I have a fan fiction spreadsheet for Doctor Who. That's not something that I can say about any other fictional world. Um, I've never actually written any fan fiction for it, but I know what order the fan fiction I would write would go in.
Yeah, that's the thing I love about Doctor Who. It inspires this level of
Yeah,
obsession. It's the thing I love about Doctor Who so much, but also the thing I hate about it because then you get so invested in it to the point where you're making videos every year about every tiny little thing that it does wrong, and yeah, and yeah, that level of stress and tension is not something that anyone needs, particularly right
there's
now.
so much there's so much of it that you can be deep in the fandom and then you can have someone say to you, oh, did you know there's another like 10 hours of Doctor Who material that's been made with like the same production value as all the rest of it? And you go, wow, I didn't know that, despite having obsessed over this for like 3 years.
Yeah, because there's so
Like,
much of it.
there's going to be die-hard fans in the chat who have no idea what Scream of the Shalka even is.
Yeah, there's gonna be diehard fans who don't even know what Big Finish
Yeah.
is, and their output is like the size of the fucking Jupiter by this
I
point.
am genuinely curious. I wouldn't be at all surprised if I found out there was significantly more Big Finish than there was of the actual show.
There probably is because they've made so much
Yeah.
of it. I stopped buying Big Finish audio dramas because it was draining too much money, and I had other stuff on, and I had other stuff to use my money on, and then I just sort of blinked, and suddenly they'd made like 50 more box
Yeah,
sets.
that seems to be how. I mean, like, to me, I arrived at Big Finish relatively late. I mean, like, I was aware of its existence since I was very young, um, but I never, like, cared to go through it until relatively recently. And, then I just looked at it as like, okay, where to start? And I was like, what order does this go? Where do I? Oh, there's just
It's like this massive
you log
monolith.
on to bigfinish.com and there's just text there that says here's a million things.
Here's a million things. Do you want to play? Do you want to play where the Sixth Doctor fights giant marshmallow monsters? Here you go.
Do you want to listen to Mel assemble a cabinet in IKEA under threat of death? That's real. People in the chat will think that's a joke. That's real.
That is real. Oh, I remember the One Doctor. That was a really good one.
I think I didn't manage to finish that. Like I swear, you know when you get through something and then you pause at some point in the middle of it and then you never get back to it because you're like, oh, I can't remember where I was. That's the One Doctor for me.
Yeah, I always get lost because there's so many hundreds and hundreds of Big Finish plays that I've listened to over
I
the years.
remember in the One Doctor, the Jelloid, and that's my last memory of it.
I listened to this. I listened to this one recently, which is quite good, called Red, which is about the six. It's the Seventh Doctor and Mel show up in this colony where there's this virus in people's heads that goes around and makes them murder their partners, and it's like really violent and horrible. And it's like the classic show was not like this at all.
I mean, they get away with a lot more in Big Finish.
They get away with so much more. Yeah.
Oh, they got. I was trying to think. I swear I was having flashbacks. I swear I was watching something today where I was thinking they wouldn't have got away with this in this show, and it was Scream of the Shalka, where they describe gruesome deaths.
I think Scream of the Shalka. I think a lot of that comes from stunt casting because Paul McGann was the Doctor and now Richard E. Grant is the Doctor. So it's like because Paul McGann and Richard E. Grant were famously two halves of Withnail and Ide. So I think a lot of that comes from that.
It's like
that's just my pet theory.
The thing I'm thinking of with Scream of the Shalka is like there's a scene where they describe in detail someone who died because they were forced against their will to rub molten rocks on themselves until they had no hands. And then they plunged their face into the molten rocks and solidified. Like, oh, okay.
This show could be so weird, especially in the expanded universe where you get to like remove all of the restraint that comes with making a show essentially for children. Especially in like there's this other BBC webcast called Real Time,
that was great.
Which like has like full-on graphic cyber conversion in it.
And then you have the most gruesome and horrible it gets is when the Master kills 4 guards by jizzing on them. Which
brings us neatly in TV movie.
So the TV movie is our topic for today. It's an interesting artifact. It's so weird. Like it seems like it was made by Doctor Who fans who didn't really care about Doctor Who, but who knew everything about it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to me with the TV movie because I think a lot of it has to do with network tinkering and that coming into contact with these hardcore Who fans who wanted to reboot the show because it's essentially a 90s rom-com retooled that's been reverse engineered into an episode of Doctor Who.
That's very much what it is. The romance is very strange in this.
Yeah, it's very odd, especially the way that they set this up with so Grace, she's a doctor, right? And she's trying to go on a date with this guy and she's going to the opera and then she gets called in to work on this man who's just been brought in. And there's this bit where she's getting changed into her scrubs and she's talking to Brian on the phone. And like they're having this beef, and then she puts the phone down, and then realizes that they're probably going to break up now. And I could immediately imagine the cheesy '90s trailer going like, "She's a career gal trying to have it all and a relationship. Then she wanders into a mysterious man from space."
It's exactly what it's. It does feel like, like a '90s B movie premise of E.T., but E.T. is sexy and has a love interest, like.
It's exactly that. It's playing to that audience, but it's Doctor Who somehow.
So we open with narration from the 8th Doctor as he describes events that make you go, what? you'd have to be fans to like know enough about Doctor Who to write this, but they're demonstrating no knowledge of what they're actually writing about in the process.
But yeah, you're just sort of throwing out that, okay, so the Master is on trial by the Daleks.
Yeah. So we open.
Who speak in the weirdest high-pitched voice that you've ever heard. Like, exterminate, exterminate. You think that they're going to break into some sort of Alvin and the Chipmunks number.
Exactly, yeah. It's okay, so the opening line is like, the Master was put on trial by the Daleks on Skaro. It was said that he stood quietly as his list of terrible crimes was read. I'm like, what crimes do the Daleks care about? Like, the crime, the list, on that list, if the Daleks are putting him on trial, that list would have said, you are not a Dalek. And that would be it. Maybe you've killed some Daleks. Although I'm not sure, had he at that point? Had he done that ever?
Had the Master ever actually been in a... Well, I mean, there's off-screen stories.
Yeah.
Hidden stuff, but yeah, it's just sort of chucks this out of the blue. I think that it might have been them setting up a potential series to follow on from this that never got made. But it is a bit of a random premise, and if because this movie was essentially made to reintroduce Doctor Who to a new and wider audience over in America. So and opening with something so obtuse.
Yeah, it feels like.
Do you really want to do that?
It's so. If I was a new audience member going into that, I'd be like, whoa, this is too much. I don't know what's going on already, like imagine watching something new and there's a load of like lore behind the series, but this is a reboot, so you can you can jump on here because it's a reboot, surely. And then the first line is like, the Crotons are angered that the Plorphus has destroyed the floor pin. Did you know that there is concept art for the Daleks in this series, by the way? That never got implemented?
No, I didn't. Please
Here
show,
it is.
Please
this is
show
what
me
the
that.
Daleks would have looked like. It should appear for you in a second. The only reason that I know that this is supposed to be a Dalek is because I was told this is concept art of a Dalek in the TV movie universe. It's an interesting thing.
Waiting.
Oh, really? It's not popped up. That's...
What?
Right?
Interesting nightmare fuel.
It's a
there.
cool thing.
It's a cool thing. It's not a Dalek.
It looks
though,
more
is
like
it?
the Mox of Balhoon.
Yeah, kind of. Do you think maybe that's where the Mox of Balhoon came from?
Well, maybe. Who knows? Really, that.
Well,
is the stream okay for everyone? By the way,
interesting nightmare fuel. Is it? Hang on, let me see.
Well, if the stream isn't buffering for you, it should be fine.
Let me see what the chat says. It says no. Wow, what the hell is that thing? Okay, it seems to be working.
Right. I'm just getting error messages from YouTube.
That is the correct reaction to that picture.
Yeah, it's like it's a neat looking design of summon. It's not really a Dalek though.
No.
It would have been cool for the human Dalek in Evolution of the Daleks.
Oh yeah, that's true. Instead of
what they went with.
The dick-headed brain monster. Oh, the Freudian imagery. The Freudian imagery is just going to continue because this movie is full of it.
Yeah, this movie. So for the Master in this film, it starts with him. It's announced that he was executed by the Daleks for his many crimes, which apparently they care about. And then his last request was that his remains be taken back to Gallifrey by the Doctor. And apparently the Daleks were like, yeah, sure, fine, okay.
The Doctor's our mortal enemy, but fine.
And apparently the Daleks, went, hey, we'll just call up the Doctor and ask him. And then he was like, sure, okay, fine, yeah, that's fine.
See, my favourite thing about this, though, is the Doctor says in voiceover, but I stored him safely during my travel, and then it cuts to Sylvester McCoy putting the Master's remains in a box.
Yes.
And then locking it with his sonic screwdriver, and he just says, there, that should do it. And I just immediately flash back to that Simpsons episode where Bart falls down a well, and then they say at the end of it, "We're going to take precautions so no one falls down this well ever again." And it cuts to groundskeeper Willie just hammering a sign in front that says "Caution Well," and he goes, "There, that should do it."
It is very much that, because it take what does it take, like a minute for the master to break out?
box to break
Like
out.
he turns away. Isn't it literally he turns away from it and it breaks? It's not played comically,
No,
but
he's like he's sat in his chair reading the Time Machine.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what they do in the
A book he's obviously never read before.
to reintroduce the Doctor to the to general audiences, they show they're in the TARDIS. Beautiful TARDIS design, by the way. Let's just put that there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's gorgeous. That's the outside of the TARDIS. There's the inside. And it's the first TARDIS console room that looks like he actually lives in it, which is a very nice touch because he does live in it. The TARDIS is his home,
Yeah.
and it's all furnished.
Yeah,
now.
there's a nice chair. I like that chair. I want to have a sit in that chair with a glass of wine.
You see, one of my favorite console rooms is the Capaldi one because it looks like a cold, spaceship that he's made nice over the years by putting nice furniture in. I like those ones.
Yeah. Although this one is a bit incongruous to the style of the movie because it's like you see all those candles in the background. It's like gothic, but the movie is a cheesy 90s rom-com.
And you have
It's like the Chibnall era's title sequence being that like weird, dark and moody vortex, and yet the show is really bubbly and cutesy.
So at this point, we're introduced with the seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy. For people, I know there are going to be people watching who don't know who that is. He's on screen now, next to the taller Eighth Doctor. He is as I'm saying that. He is for
There we
everyone
go.
else as they're hearing this, but because you're
Pro-streamers.
hearing this before everyone else is hearing it. Your images are a
That's
bit
true.
behind what you're hearing, but at the same time, time travel.
Time travel. That is how YouTube works. And yeah, Sylvester McCoy is wonderful in this film.
He was so underused.
I will hear no other word against him in this film. And to be fair, as we just said, it's a very obtuse opening with the Daleks putting the Master on trial. But I think that the way it introduces that the Doctor can change into other people, I think that's done quite well.
I think it's done really well with Paul McGann narrating over it with him going, just talking like it's normal,
with clearly
a different guy on the screen. But that's me.
Yeah, and then he gets killed off, and then he regenerates. Then he regenerates from there. It's the way it introduces this is quite nice.
Now, if I was redoing this whole thing, I would have the same narration with him saying, I was on my way to Gallifrey when, and then clearly showing someone else with a different voice and presumably different face. And then I wouldn't bring the narration back up until the end when Sylvester McCoy would regenerate. And then anyone who's new to the whole franchise and doesn't know what regeneration is would, maybe the narration at the beginning would be like, hey, but it wouldn't stick in their mind at the front for the whole film. And then by the end of the film, they'd see the regeneration and go, oh, that's why, okay, yeah. Because Sylvester McCoy is underused in this. He deserves to have more of a film.
Yeah, and the thing that's bothered fans for decades, of course, is where's Ace gone?
Yeah. Well, death comes to time.
Yes, there is that. There have been so many attempts to explain why Ace is not in this film with the Seventh Doctor. Where did she go? Is it that I can think. I mean, because she's been in Big Finish for years, obviously.
Have they ever actually done what's the most canon answer to that question? Because Death Comes to Time isn't canon.
I can't even fucking remember. The latest one is she starts a charity on Earth or something, and she wrote a book.
That's what all of them do.
Yeah, Yeah, which is a lot less like inspiring than she becomes a Time Lord on
Yeah.
Gallifrey. Mm. But yeah, McCoy is great in this. One of my favorite scenes in this is where he gets brought into the hospital and he wakes up on the operating table as they're about to cut him open, and he's just like, "Look at me, I'm not human." Just like he was really
Yeah.
underused, but what's there works really well.
He does a great job with a lot of the material he's given as well. I don't think anyone could make it sound natural to wake up after being shot and then just have a guy go, "Oh my god," and then him just look at them and go, "Timing malfunction."
Yeah, it's like
I mean, any actor could pull that off, because that's not a thing a person would say.
like I mean, what he is. I'd say he's the best thing about this film.
But Paul does such a great job as well.
Paul does a great job, yeah. But I think I like the fact that they got Sylvester in the film to play this part, and so that connects it up to canon. So it makes this definitely canon now for all that canon matters anymore for Timeless Children.
I feel like if they didn't get Sylvester McCoy in to film the regeneration, they might have ignored the film and gone like, "No, that doesn't really count," like they did with Scream of the Shalka and stuff.
Yeah, they just started with McGann as the Doctor already, and that's it.
Yeah, if they'd done that, I feel like they might have ignored the existence of this for the reboot.
Yeah, they probably would have done, because controversial bit that's the bit that we're inevitably going to talk about.
Oh yeah, that. Oh, they did that.
That bit, yeah. Shall I not? Shall we
feel
leave
like
that bit? Okay.
Well, it's funny. There's a couple of parallels with Timeless Children in this, aren't there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shall we leave that and let's talk about the fact that the Seventh Doctor was gunned down in a gang violence related.
Oh yeah, that's why the
incident.
Seventh Doctor regenerates. That just happens.
Which is like fucking
It's
a downer,
so
isn't it?
brutal as well. Okay, so
I know.
after being introduced to the Seventh Doctor, can we talk about how we're introduced to the Seventh Doctor? By the way, so this was intended to be shown to new audiences. So how do we introduce this character who's a time traveler? Okay, let's pan past about 15 clocks. That's not an exaggeration. That's a genuine guess as to how many there probably are. Show him reading The Time Machine and then listening to a piece of music where the record gets stuck on the word time and it says time over and over again until he goes to fix it. I think this guy might have something to do with time.
If you've been complaining that you think that Chris Chibnall thinks the audience is stupid, this is like thinking the audience is stupid times 20.
I think it's. I actually think Chibbers does this. What Chibbers does is a bit different to this. He'll because this isn't. This is like. This feels more like a writer going, "Look at my motif and my theme." This feels like someone thinking they're being clever, whereas Chibnall treating the audience as stupid will be more like,
Hello, my name is I'm the Doctor. I'm a time traveler.
Yeah, that's.
I can imagine the film opening with that narration that just says, "I am a doctor."
It would be more. There wouldn't be any of that.
I went to Gallifrey and was given the Master, and I'm taking his remains back to Gallifrey. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
let's open with some narration. Hold the viewer's hand.
Sylvester McCoy, or the Seventh Doctor, arrives. He crashes on Earth because the Master escapes the box, and he's a snake now. We didn't even mention that he's a cum snake.
Yeah, the Master is now a spunk monster.
Yeah, so the box that the Master was stored in blows up, and like this weird snake made of white goo crawls out of the box without the Doctor seeing it, and hides in the TARDIS. This causes the TARDIS to crash on Earth, where the Doctor leaves the TARDIS to figure out what's going on, to search for components of a clock so that he can fix the TARDIS. And because clocks. Because time.
It's so dumb.
He leaves the TARDIS, and immediately upon just stepping out, gets shot down in a gang war. And this wouldn't have killed him, but he gets whisked away to surgery in an ambulance, where they give him medicine that kills him because he's not human. And that's how the Seventh Doctor goes out. He just gets gunned down, leaving the TARDIS, and then isn't saved. You could do some really cool thematic messages with that, but they don't.
No, that and it's very odd and at odds with the tone that the movie's going for. Because as I said, the movie is a kitschy 90s rom-com, and yet the Seventh Doctor is gunned down by gang violence.
It's sort of
That's a fucking brutal. That's a fucking brutal. Like you can imagine Doctor Who done by Martin Scorsese with that idea in it.
It's almost like an even more brutal scene is where he's on the operating table and they're trying to heal him, and then they make a mistake. He has a seizure and they're defibrillating him, and he's having and he flatlines, and it's like, oh, this is just like brutal death on the operating scene with no death on the operating table scene with no punches pulled. And it's time for the it's time for the 90s rom-com.
With Madame Butterfly
playing.
They did that. Because we're cultured. That's a cultural reference.
It's at that point the surgeon that kills him is Grace, who is the companion for this story. So that's how it's a ballsy move to introduce a companion by having them accidentally kill the Doctor.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
But it feels very much like, oh, we have to get the old Doctor out of the way to introduce our new one. Like, he literally steps outside the TARDIS and he gets shot. That's almost the joke answer to how do we get our character out the way because we need to get rid of them. Oh, they open their front door and they get shot.
Well, to be fair, it certainly made an impact.
Right through his shoulder.
At least it's notable.
It is.
It's like the 13th Doctor throwing the master to the Nazis. At least I looked up and paid attention.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So, the Doctor dies on the operating table and gets put into a morgue where he regenerates into the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann, who then...
And oh my god, can we talk about the what's the name of someone who is in charge of a morgue, just sort of like the porter guy. He's watching a classic Frankenstein movie on the TV while the Doctor regenerates and gets up while in his shroud.
Yeah, they do like a shot for shot thing where they're showing Frankenstein coming alive and the Doctor coming alive.
It's alive. It's alive.
Yeah. And then
I laughed so much. I totally forgot about that.
It's so weird. It's like, I mean, I don't get why, because like the connections basically just begin and end with dead thing comes back to life.
Dead thing comes back to life.
Like thematically, there's nothing more to it than that, really.
What kind of? Because like Frankenstein is made of bits of other people, and the Doctor is, technically lots of other people.
Maybe I don't.
Kind of. It's a bit of a stretch, but you could kind of get that in there. I think it's mostly just them thinking, what can we have, which is obvious symbolism for someone coming back to life, and it's alive.
Yeah. It does sort of seem like
old school horror.
This film
and would there be copyright on that Frankenstein?
I don't know.
On that Frankenstein movie, because it's an old movie, so maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's copyright free. That's why in loads of old horror movies they're watching stuff like Night of the Living Dead because it's got no copyright.
It feels
on it.
very much like in how the showing all of the clocks and the time related stuff feels, where it's like they think they're being clever, but they're just being ham-fisted.
That is true, but that might be a legitimate reason why they used that, because they think, oh, we've got some sort of wanky faux connection symbolism, and we also don't have to pay to use it.
I assume it is.
I don't know if there's enough notes on the TV movie to be able to source that, but if so, it would be an interesting
Oh,
explanation.
Mortician, by the way, chats on
Mortician, there we go.
chats on
Thank you,
it.
chat, for being cleverer than me.
So the Doctor punches down the door of the morgue.
Oh yeah, fucking yeah. Oh wait. Ruth Doctor, super strength.
Oh God, no! Can we not give the Doctor super strength, please?
No, but it's like that establishes the
Yeah,
precedent now for why the Ruth Doctor is super
it's
strong.
like
So there, see, Chris Chibnall is more of a fan than you because he
it's
remembered that.
like how he cuts to show the Morbius doctors in in the Timeless Children. In this, I'm surprised that in Fugitive of the Junoon, he doesn't. After Ruth does that, cut to Paul McGann punching down the solid metal door, and then go see. But yeah, so it's a full on solid metal door on it, by the way. Which, given how ham-fisted like the symbolism in this film is, it feels really weird to me that all of the doors are numbered. Like it's a row of numbered doors, and he comes out of the one that's labeled 2. Like it should be 8. Clearly, it should have 7 to the left of him, 8, and then 9 to the right of him. No, the ones to the right of him should be retroactively edited to say war.
Well, that would be quite a coincidence. But then again, this movie is
But
very
yeah,
hammy, so you'd expect that. I mean, oh yeah, because when Lee is taking the Doctor in the ambulance, he writes down. He's asked what's his name, and Lee doesn't know, obviously, so he writes down John
yeah.
Smith.
It's like if you take out all of the
Bit
other
of a
hammy
coincidence.
coincidences, I feel like just him being behind number 8 and the door, which is like, oh, that's a cute little thing that a lot of people probably wouldn't even notice. But yeah, he punches down.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
punches down the solid metal door of the morgue, and like he doesn't just like punch it down. Like he punches it several times and leaves dents in it, and then it falls down to show him just looking a bit bewildered, like he's not sure what's going on. And you're like, did he even do that? What happened to that door? Um,
It made me laugh though, and I like the pratfall that the mortician does then.
really?
It made me
It's like
laugh.
it felt like it would be at home in Brum.
But then again, so would most of
That's
this
true.
movie.
So now that we've got to like the part where I want to say there's kind of a new Who energy to Paul McGann's Doctor that I never really realised was there. It retroactively feels a lot more like new Who Doctors than classic Who ones.
Yeah, he's got a lot of
He
energy.
does. I actually
Yeah.
think they did quite a relatively good job with characterizing him.
Oh yeah, he feels like the Doctor immediately.
Yeah. So they get a lot right that he has the core, he has the Doctor's core, but with the sort of because each regeneration brings up like new aspects of his personality to the top. You know, while he's still the same person, each new regeneration brings a different aspect of the same character out, you know. And he's very much the romanticized, the poet version of that, you know. He's the one who would like all of the Doctors sort of have an appreciation for poetry, it feels like, but he's the one who would like obsess over it, you know. That's sort of what he feels like. He's sort of the Edwardian
Yeah.
poet Doctor.
Yeah, and he's sort of coming out with all these aphorisms, like I love humans, always seeing patterns in things that aren't there.
Yeah, and
But he is also a big kid. Like I really enjoyed that bit where he's Grace has finally given him some shoes, and he's just sort of doing this big long monologue
yeah, that bit's great.
about everything, and then he just goes, "These shoes, they fit perfectly," and then he just sort of starts running around.
Yeah, he has a lot of good he has a lot of good lines in this that you could see Tom delivering in the way that they're just sort of cheeky and funny and very doctory. Where he says, "Oh, I can't remember what the exact line is now, but it's something about him having amnesia," and then she asks him a question. It's like, oh, I think it's like she says, do you have?
Well, I have amnesia. I don't
She
remember.
says like, oh, do you have some form of amnesia? And he says, maybe, I don't remember. And I'm like, oh, that's such a doctory thing to say. And he knows full well that
Yeah.
he's making a joke. It's self-aware.
And he's very odd as well, which I like, because that's what the Doctor's supposed to be. He's supposed to say things that are like awkward and uncomfortable that make you just sort of feel a bit weird because he's an alien, so he doesn't sort of fit in society. There was this bit where he realizes what the Master's doing and what's happening right now, and where he starts explaining it to Grace, and he goes really over the top, and there's just sort of this really uncomfortable, awkward bit where he screams into his face, "Oh my God, the Master, he's doing this!" No, like he just grabs her. It's just like no, and I just thought that's awkward and uncomfortable. And in any other movie, it would look like bad acting. It would look like The Room acting. But because this is Doctor Who, and he's so odd and out of place, it just works.
He's supposed to feel odd and out of place, and it feels very intentional. The performance is great. He's the Doctor with a couple of odd characteristics that don't quite fit, though. So he does this thing in this movie, which is very much just like, ooh, did you know he's a time traveler? Where he'll keep going up to people and giving them advice for the future based on like random stuff that he couldn't possibly know.
Oh yeah, the bit where he goes up to that kid in the clock exhibition place. I don't fucking know, where he goes, when you're doing your exam, answer the second question, not the first one. It's very important. The second question.
And you're thinking like, but surely if that's what he does, then he'll do it. You know? If that's what he does in the future and that's what's supposed to happen, then that's what he'll do. You don't need to tell him, just, rewrite the scene where he goes, when you're doing your midterms, do what you would do anyway. And that's the scene. But yes, we have, so after he breaks out of the morgue, he finds the surgeon that killed him, who's looking for him anyway because he has two hearts, and she figured that out afterwards, and she figured out that's why she failed the surgery. She wasn't, she didn't expect him to have two hearts.
Oh, and while we're on that, can we talk about the scene between Grace and the head of the hospital, who's talking, and Grace is going, but he's got two hearts, and the doctor's going, look, I cannot have you under investigation for incompetence and malpractice. Maybe you were drunk last night. Okay, just drop this. And the movie seems to treat this guy like he's evil or something. And I'm just like, no, he's trying to keep a hospital afloat. He's trying to keep a hospital together. He's not being a bad guy here. He's telling you to drop something so that you can continue doing your job, which is really quite important.
I don't think it's like smart though, because it is
and yet he's snarling and sneering, and I'm just like, he's not a bad guy.
I could swear he has sinister music playing under him as well.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, this movie does do the trick of like play the music to make you feel a certain way about a character.
I will say that like I think probably he made the wrong call with the guy had two hearts. That is an unexpected complication that I feel could make a surgery go bad, especially when you're dealing with their heart. Well,
it's because she's clearly crazy for. It's not a double exposure.
All right, yeah, sure.
We can't have her being crazy. Oh, another bit in this movie that I really loved, where the Doctor is explaining to Grace that the molecular structure of the world is going to shit, and she's like, I'm going to phone a psychiatric ward right now. And when she's on the phone to the psychiatric ward, he steps through the glass of her window, and she just goes, I need a psychiatric bed. Actually, make that 2 beds. I thought that joke really worked.
I don't get the joke.
No, that she needs a psychiatric bed for the Doctor, and now she realizes.
Oh right, okay.
Oh, I need a psychiatric bed for me as well.
Oh, I
really like that.
I was a bit slow on the uptake with that one. I was.
I don't know. I didn't explain it very well to me.
No, but I just watched this film though.
Oh, okay.
No, okay. So.
Well, there's lots of things to think about.
The Doctor finds Grace, the surgeon that killed him, and they sort of run around for a bit, where he she gives him some shoes. She like asks him questions about having two hearts. She listens to him with a stethoscope. It's very clearly sexualized.
They make the fuck eyes at each other. They make
the absolute living fuck eyes at each other. And it's like, and then we have the scene where the Eighth Doctor does the big monologue, where he's starting to remember who he actually is, and he's going, "Oh, it was on Gallifrey, where I was lying back in the grass with my father, and there was a meteor shower, and the sky was dancing with lights." And it's like, it's really like, it's a really pretty scene. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but they've got, as he's talking about the sky dancing with lights, there's all of these brightly coloured lights in the shot behind him, and it's nicely done. It feels like you're watching like a romanticized, like, it feels like romanticized Doctor Who, which I like.
Yeah, as I said, it's like a 90s rom-com, but it's also Doctor Who.
And that part is...
Oh yeah, and I love that it's New Year's Eve 1999, because this movie was made in 1996, and everything in the late 90s had to be about the new millennium. I'm surprised this movie's plot wasn't the Doctor fights Y2K.
Yes. It's funny, I was making that joke watching the film. It's like, the Millennium Bug episode.
Yeah, well, like, why not? If this movie had gone on to do a series, they would have done a Y2K
Oh my god,
episode.
they should go back and retroactively do a Millennium Bug episode. Like,
wasn't there in Torchwood Fragments? I remember there's a flashback to New Year's Eve 1999, and they make a Millennium Bug joke, and Jack says, "Oh, I didn't think it literally."
I don't remember that. Is that one of the Big Finish ones?
It's in Torchwood Fragments. That's one of the season 2.
Right. I've not seen season. I've only seen Children of Earth and the first few episodes of season 1.
The best episodes.
I've seen. I think I don't remember watching much after the Sex Monster. That's not a joke, by the way. That's literal. Really. That's anyone who hasn't seen.
Well, there's a sex monster. There's a sex monster in the TV movie as well. Should we talk about the Master?
You could also call the Doctor a sex monster in this. Hey.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, the fuck eyes.
So yeah, this is like. So we're talking about a character who has shown no libido, no libido for about 30 years of TV history.
Well, but to be fair to that, it was a show for all the family, so you couldn't really do that.
And there was
in this, as I said, it's attempting to be a 90s rom-com, but also Doctor Who. So I kind of get why they did that.
At the same time, I feel they should sort of have eased in the fans to the Doctor being romantically active, rather than going, he snogs a woman he's known for a good 3 minutes. Like there's an area in between those two things.
All right, that's true, but that's the thing. That's the thing. The Doctor is supposed to be hundreds and hundreds of years old. He's gone everywhere. He's done everything,
but not Grace.
I don't know. I just always assumed that the Doctor's fucked lots.
I think at some point
he just is. Right?
I think it's safe to assume that at some point I've danced. So, and Doctor then he was talking about doing the fuck.
Yeah, and because Timeless Children has made everything canon now, does that also mean that all the Doctor Who porns are canon?
Yes, not just the porns, the smut fan fictions, all of them.
Yeah, what's it called? Dr. Lou and the Farlex, and it's this lady caressing a Dalek which has got a dildo instead of its plunger.
That sounds like a porn parody.
Yeah, I remember someone did a video on it ages ago. I can't believe people actually watch these.
I mean, I suppose it's just a marketing tool, right? Oh, I can 100% believe that people make them. It is watching them that I'm more like, what?
No, yeah, like watching them for genuine reasons of arousal rather than to laugh.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of genuinely funny ones that like are just good for watching because they're funny. Which I mean,
Yeah,
I've done
yeah.
videos on that.
People in the chat. Tell me right now if you've ever genuinely masturbated to a Doctor Who porn parody.
Oh God, here they come. Well, in about
Just say yes or no.
in about a minute because of the latency. Does Holocaust of the Daleks count as a porn
I'm saying.
parody? That's a deep
I'm
reference.
saying, oh God, no. Oh God, this is weird. Okay, let's just stop now.
But okay. So this is as close to a porn parody as is in canon. The Doctor
That's true.
fucks
The
in
Master
this.
is a spoke.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
it's like okay, so we're to the part where he
I see no, but I should.
no play shit.
I'm taking I'm taking that as the response to that question.
I mean, I see what it is because we're getting loads of no's arriving in the chat now. I am surprised at the lack of yeses. I expected loads of people would just say yes as a joke.
Yes to the wood rocket one. I think I will do that right now. No, I am gay. I'm sure that there
There
are
must be
gay
gay
Doctor Who porn
ones.
parodies. There must be gay Doctor Who
There
porn.
must be. Google it right now. I command you all.
So, yeah. Barrage J
Oh
with
God.
links to gay Doctor Who porn on Twitter. I dare people
Thanks,
to do
man.
that.
Thanks.
I'm, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if people turn that into a meme.
It's
Turn that into a meme,
I
everyone.
I promise not to mind that much.
All right. All right. Back to what we were talking about. So yeah, the Doctor fucks in this
Okay,
one.
so they have the romance scene. He starts remembering who he is, and then he starts talking about how he has to stop the Master, who is opening the Eye of Harmony, which is going to destroy the world by making glass weird.
So dumb.
So okay, the Master opens the Eye of Harmony in the TARDIS to do things. It's not very clear. And then, if you don't know what that is, it's okay. Just you only need to understand that it starts destroying things when he does it. So the world, like reality, starts collapsing. Is how it's played out. Grace is like, okay, you're actually mad. I'm kind of regretting the snog, and runs away back into her house. The Doctor follows her, going, no, you have to listen to me. The Master's doing things and stuff. This is the one thing where I'm like, why doesn't he just go and sort it out himself? That he doesn't actually need anything from Grace to save the world here, as far as he knows.
Well, she has access to that clock
But he
thing.
doesn't know that yet. He finds that out.
Doesn't
He
she?
finds that out by going into her house and hearing it on the news.
I don't even fucking know.
So he follows her. And I think this is one of the weaker links in the film. I mean, there are quite a few weak links where, like, oh, do you know? Okay, a bit earlier on, when what's his name, Lee, is stealing the Doctor's things, and he grabs the bag and he runs away in the hospital. Grace chases him, but like he runs past a bed, and then like Porter's moving a bed, and he runs past, and then they get in her way, and she can't. She's yelling like, stop that guy, stop that guy. A fucking policeman walks past, is like, no, not my problem. Like, as this guy is running away. You see, it's so weird. It's in the background of the scene. You don't notice it, and like, it's not something you immediately notice, but there's a guy running away with a stolen bag of stuff, a woman chasing him going, no, stop that man, and a policeman just walking around like, oh, that guy's running away from that person. And he doesn't do anything.
Well, as I said, kitschy 90s rom-com.
But yeah, and it's like, there are a lot of like, oh, we haven't even mentioned the fucking incredibly campy stuff that Paul does when he like drops to his knees, spreads his arms wide, and goes, "Who am I?"
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. This movie is so campy and so cheesy that you barely even notice some things like that.
We forgot to mention as well.
We haven't even
Eric Roberts.
We haven't even got to Eric Roberts
so
yet.
This is about while all of this has been
Bloody
going on.
Roberts.
The Master, who is a cum snake at the moment, goes and finds a sleeping dude. He found the guy from the ambulance who when they were taking the doctor to hospital. He's in that guy's bedroom. This guy is played by Eric Roberts, and as he's sleeping. He's like a mouth breather. He's snoring. The cum snake master enters his mouth and like goes into his body and then possesses his body by doing that. And then the
phallic imagery in this movie is just amazing. Like
the guy.
Absolutely insane. Like, not even just because we haven't mentioned the way that the Master gets out of the TARDIS. It's like it's like the spunk monster comes out through the keyhole.
It looks like it's like dripping and drooping and dribbling from the keyhole. This like gunk.
This like spunky gunk stuff. It reminds me of there's this horror movie that came out on Netflix recently called The Girl on the Third Floor. And it's about this guy renovating this house, which they do this weird effect where the house it spunks out of like plug sockets. So yeah, if people are turned on by spunk coming out of like keyholes and wall socket plugs, I recommend Girl on the Third Floor on Netflix.
Thanks.
So yeah, that's the thing I watched recently.
So, this the first scene we're introduced to the Master, and this is the first time they did the unspeakable. They gave an established Doctor Who character an American accent.
Dun dun dun.
I assume that pissed people off at the time, giving the Master an American accent.
Did it? I mean, probably.
There's like some real.
There's a lot of other stuff to be pissed off at this film for. So.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't blame them for overlooking.
Some real like corny like Men in Black as a joke, but not as a joke in this film level dialogue where the guy's wife is like, "Honey, come back to bed," and he goes, "I am not honey. I am the Master."
What? Yeah. It's what? I am not Bruce. You will not call me Bruce. Okay, what should I call you? Master.
It's so campy.
It's so corny. And pretty much all of his lines are like that. They make him look like the Terminator in like this big black leather coat with sunglasses and everything. But all of his lines are so campy, and it's like, oh, that was it. I am not Bruce. I am merely inside his body.
That's like.
It's like every line from him is a "that's what she said" joke.
I'm imagining someone actually just like saying that because they've been caught having a shag.
There's so many of this. It's like genuine. There's so many of this that's genuine dialogue. I need the doctor's body. Do you, Master? Do you?
So there's like you can play a drinking game for that. I think that this film would make a good like. That's what she said, drinking game. Because there's not so much of it that you would die doing the drinking game, but there's enough of it that you could get pleasantly tipsy.
Yeah, like I couldn't take the Master that seriously in this film, despite all of the over-the-top, trying too hard imagery. Like he's a snake.
They give him demon eyes when he possesses Eric Roberts.
They give him demon eyes, the big long leather coats and everything. I couldn't really take him seriously. But I do think another element of it comes from South Park, because I watched this movie after I had seen the South Park episode where they have Eric Roberts there's an episode of South Park where they're all trapped inside this rec center and Eric Roberts is there for some reason, and they all decide to eat him because they're running out of food. And I remember the mayor going, "That's it, Eric Roberts. No one will miss Eric Roberts. No one gives a shit about Eric Roberts." And then they eat him. And I'd watched that episode before watching this movie, so I think that might have been part of why I didn't take this movie seriously.
That's the canon order to view those two things.
Yes.
There's a part in this where he pulls off one of his fingernails and throws it across the room. That just happens. It's never really mentioned, or it's just a bit weird. Because
There is so much of this movie's weird, like the bit where they're in the clock center and they run into those
We need
guards
to,
that have just sort of been frozen and covered in
we need to
spunk,
get to that. That needs to be. Yeah.
dissected.
So chronologically, where are we at? We're at the point where okay, we're at the wibbly window bit. So Grace has run inside her house, going, "You're insane! You're talking about like the master and atomic clocks and the world ending and the Eye of Harmony, and I don't know what any of it means. I'm going to run away from you now." He follows her for reasons. He doesn't really know her or who she is, but he did just snog her, so I guess he follows her. Then she's in her house going, "No, you have to get away from me. You're clearly crazy. I don't. No, no, thanks. Goodbye." And then he goes, like the Eye of Harmony being open will destroy reality. It will build up, and the effects will get greater until the world ends at midnight tonight. And then she's like, "Nah, you're crazy." And then he goes, "I'll prove it." And he like taps the glass of her window, and it wobbles. It's like CGI 90s.
It's like Flubber.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
remember
like that.
Flubber?
And then he walks through it. Like he walks through the glass and it just like snaps back into place after he walks through it. Like it goes stretchy. He walks through it and then it goes back into place. And it's a strange scene. Now, you would think that that after that, because it's made pretty clear that the effects of the Eye of Harmony being open are going to increase until the world ends, until like it actually destroys the world at midnight. But that's the only weird thing that happens because of it for the whole film.
No, they then cut to a load of news broadcasts, and it's talking about like
Freak weather.
it's like but talking about freak weather and like dead penguins and
Yeah,
things.
but none of
But that's all you
nothing else
see.
after
Really.
that. Nothing else happens that's weird because of the Eye of Harmony being open, which it doesn't get closed until the climax because obviously that's how the film ends.
I'm guessing they run out of budget.
But it's like I feel like they just forgot to write it in because it's not like they try to write anything out in. It doesn't feel like there's spots where it's been cut out. I don't know. Maybe they just covered it well.
Yeah,
But
I would have done a sequence where the Doctor sees Grace with two heads or
oh
something.
yeah, you want to if you have a weird reality warping entity that's destroying the world, and it should be building up. Like he explicitly says, it's going to increase until the world ends. So, which apparently means there's a weird
like,
window and then nothing until
yeah, like
the hour.
like it would look stupid, sure, but it's Doctor Who. Of course, it looks stupid.
Yeah, yeah. This is about as pretty as Doctor Who had ever looked at the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, it still looks quite pretty, although notably dated because
It's shot
90s.
very nicely. There are a load of weird dramatic shots of clocks where he looks at the time and then it zooms in really quickly on the clock with dramatic music. That
Because in case
yeah.
in case you hadn't noticed, he's a time
Well,
traveler.
not even that. It's like because there's a deadline. He looks at the clock and it's like it shows you the clock and then it shows his face
Oh,
reacting
that
to
too,
it
yeah.
and then it shows you the clock again, zooming in on it, going dun dun dun. It's the time. So they discover that there's an atomic clock being set up in a place that's nearby, in the city. It's exactly what he needs. And then, but the master finds him before he can go and find it. He doesn't realize it's the master because he's in a new body that he's not seen before.
Oh no wait, hang on. I've just remembered they do one other
What
thing
do they do?
with the reality. Oh my god, this is so funny. The Doctor's weighing himself.
Oh yeah!
And he says, "I've lost 20 pounds," and she goes, "Oh, well done in 20 minutes."
Yeah, that's it. That's
Which is another angle of this being a kitschy 90s rom-com about she's a career girl. We've discovered the miracle diet.
you can lose £20 in 20 minutes by buying a tavern pass. There you go. I made a topical joke about Blizzard.
By buying an Eye of Harmony and blowing up the world.
Yes.
That is the only way in which it is possible to lose weight.
If you want to lose weight, you have to destroy the Earth.
Well, they technically did that in Partners in Crime with,
Oh yeah,
adipose.
they
What
did
was it
do that.
called?
That was the
Yeah,
premise.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, they're going to this rec center. They're going to this center, and what was it? They're in the ambulance, and the master's driving the
Yeah,
ambulance.
so the master shows up and he's still the ambulance. Like, he possessed an ambulance driver, so they think he's just driving an ambulance. They still think he's that dude. Um, and they're like, "Take us to the atomic clock, please." And apparently, I don't know why they think that works because they've called an ambulance, but he's like, "Yeah, but it does work because he's the master." He's like, "Yeah, sure," but I'm not sure why you would, ask an ambulance to be like treat an ambulance like it's a taxi and assume that's going to work. But they do, and it does.
Yeah,
So we then have a scene where there's a roadblock because of the world being weird, I think. Which
yeah.
I guess is them doing something with it, but it's not explained how. I don't think it's actually explained why it happens, is it? It's just there's a been an accident or something.
I can't remember. I don't
There's a
think
load of
so.
chickens on a truck, and the truck is like just sort of parked in front of the road, and that's what you see. And so they can't get past. The doctor goes up to a policeman who's there for the crash, takes the policeman's gun, and threatens to shoot himself if the policeman doesn't help him out, which I think is quite nice. It's quite doctory. It is the doctor way to threaten,
Yeah,
and
true.
it goes.
Oh yeah, and he offers him a jelly
Yeah,
baby.
that's such a reference. That's so like that's the kind of fan service I don't like. That was the Fourth Doctor's thing, very much so. I don't know if any other Doctors ever
Yeah,
did it.
I think there's occasionals. I think there's occasional references.
But yeah, he offers the policeman a jelly baby. He takes his gun and threatens to shoot himself, and they steal the policeman's motorbike. And then there's a chase where he's driving away from the Eric Roberts is still in the master is still in the ambulance, and him and Lee are chasing the Doctor in his. Oh my God, I've forgotten. We've already had the twist at this point. The half twist.
The
It's
half twist.
very
What?
similar to Timeless Children, where they're like, hey, you know how the Doctor is a
Oh,
Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey?
yeah, the
No.
eye thing. Yeah, I don't get why this had to be in
So
there.
it's revealed to us by the Master looking at and this is a little bit before
The
when the Master is recruiting Lee. It's revealed he's looking at like a picture of the Doctor and he's going, the Doctor has a human retinal pattern. That means the Doctor is half human. It's revealed in this film that
yeah,
the Doctor is half human.
yeah, but it's like yeah, and the Doctor also mentions later. Also mentions when he's with Grace at that clock reveal thing that Time Lords can appear as other
Yeah.
creatures. He says that we're not always humans, right?
Yeah, which is another way.
So if Time Lords can imitate other creatures, then what's to say that he can't imitate? What's to say that they can't imitate the retinal structure of the
I mean,
human eye? Is that like the one telling factor about
it's
humans?
already canon that like some Time Lords can deliberately look like other people if they choose to. That Romana did that.
Oh yeah, that fucking scene's a mess as well.
With Romana.
The Destiny of the
Yeah.
Daleks scene where Romana's like trying on different bodies. Thank you, Douglas Adams, for thank you, Douglas Adams. Imagine the amount of time that people have been trying to explain that.
That's one of the things that people have just ignored, isn't it? Like the
Yeah,
Doctor
it
being
is
half
like the
human.
Morbius, like the
Like the
Morbius doctors.
Morbius Doctors, yes.
Yeah, I've never heard the word Morbius doctors since that episode.
No, I've never heard it either. Except when we just
No,
said it
no,
just
what is
then.
that? I don't know. Anyway, forget me.
We
Continue.
weren't just talking about anything, were we?
No, no, nothing.
So they have their little motorbike chase. A funny thing about this is that the ambulance is driving full force. It gets right behind them with the siren on, going, that's what a siren does. And Grace, who's on the back of the bike with the doctor, goes, "Doctor, look!" and points at the wing mirror, and it shows in the mirror the ambulance, and it's like, and the doctor looks and he's going, "Oh my god, they're following us!" I'm like, it's right behind you with a siren. How?
I think that's just the Doctor being weird, though.
It's like Grace as well. She doesn't notice until then.
True.
It's another weird thing, like the policeman walking past the very clear like robbery in progress and going, "It's not really my problem, is it?" So they get to the clock place where the atomic clock is that they need to fix the TARDIS and close the Eye of Harmony. And they have they just sort of go around. It's a party where they're turning on a clock. It's going to be the most accurate clock in the world, and the Doctor steals a part from it. It goes quite straightforward, really. I mean, the Master shows up and spunks all over some guards. So
They just sort of like, they turn a corridor and suddenly there's a bunch of guards with guns out, covered in spunk and presumably dead, maybe.
Grace and the Doctor have stolen the part of the clock they need. They are running away, and they turn a corner and there's just 4 guards pointing guns, and they're stiff. That's probably not the right word to use. They're like petrified. And they're covered in like white goo.
Did the makers of this movie forget the Master's shrinking
I was going to
trick?
say, like, to be fair, that was the right level of campy for this film as well.
Yeah,
Although
exactly.
I guess he wouldn't have the thing with him to do it, because that's a weapon.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Yeah,
But
like the spunk.
yeah, so
I want to see that as a deleted scene. How
I
he
want to be a
did
fly
that.
on the wall for the meeting where they go, "How should the Master kill people in this?" Spunk. He spunks on them. I guess it's like 90s was peak like Gunge era.
Oh yeah, that's true. Do you remember that? Oh, there was that kids' TV show called Get Your Own Back, where
Oh yes,
like it was like kids invited their parents on to get their own back, and like they covered them in gunge.
like they dunked them in a Gunge pit.
Is that what they were trying to do? But the gunge is uncoloured.
Yeah, so it's like white, sort of translucent Gunge,
What?
and the Master covers it in
It's
people
like,
to
did they not-
covers people in it to kill them.
Did they not get the reference? Did they not realise that people would be calling this cum on streams in decades to come?
I guess not. Otherwise, they would clearly have changed it.
Yes, clearly they would have made it like, I don't know, green, but then I would have called it
You
snot.
would have
So
like I could totally see Big Finish doing like and the 90s would have been the perfect era to like do a grotesque like Doctor Whoization of the Gunge tank. Make the Gunge tank a villain, like like plastic was a villain in the 70s, and Wi-Fi was a villain in the 2010s. Make Gunge tanks a Doctor Who villain.
well, the Nestine kind of looked like it in
That's
Rose.
true. It was a bit late for Gunge tanks.
They
though.
can't.
I'm talking like full on. The premise of a Doctor Who story is it's a televised TV show where people get dunked into a Gunge tank, as was so popular at the time. But the Gunge tank is actually like a flesh-eating life form,
Funny.
and people are
Yeah.
never seen again after they get dunked. I'd watch that. That sounds like a Big Finish.
Someone in the chat's just written Jesus Christ, as in jizz, as in
There
jizz
is
Christ.
a lot of
That's given me
Christ
an idea.
imagery in this.
That's given me an idea for a story.
Write it now. There's a lot of
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just like Christ jizzing. Anyway, what are we
There's
talking
a lot of
about?
biblical imagery in this film. I don't know if it's intentional or not. You've got sort of the whole resurrection thing with the Doctor, where he spreads his arms in like a cross, and he's wearing like the gown, and he looks quite Jesus-y. Then
Yeah, McGann does kind of look quite Jesus-y. He's got the hair,
at the
doesn't
end, they put a metal version of like a crown of thorns on him, which I'm thinking, is this
he?
intentional?
Oh yeah, that's true. That too. It could be intentional.
It would be in keeping with the
It's a
thing this
sort of,
film would do. Yeah.
it's a sort of weird contraption with like clockwork
Yeah.
orange glasses.
So yeah, they steal the part of the clock they need. They get out, and this is where it starts feeling this bit feels so New Who. Like it feels like it feels like classic Who but high energy. You know, which you didn't get until New Who until this really. But it's the first like real high energy Doctor Who where everyone's running around, and because you know in classic Who they would have found the Master is there and they would have walked away and the Master wouldn't have figured out where they went or something like that. Or
Well, in the late McCoy era, they were starting to do high energy
that's
action
true.
pieces. Remembrance of the Daleks is very much that,
That's true. There is some running in the McCoy era.
and survival is very character focused on Ace.
Mm.
So they were starting to get there towards the end of the classic era, and you can see the seeds of it being generated
Yeah.
here.
Well, it surprises me how much they actually kept from this in New Who. Like the New Who title sequence, the first one under the Russell T Davies era, is so clearly like an update of the TV movie title sequence.
Oh yeah, the title sequence in this one's
Yeah,
brilliant.
it's pretty. It looks really pretty. And
It's probably huge and epic, and I can almost imagine watching it in the cinema in the 90s.
in the cinema,
Well, it wasn't in the cinema, no.
it was a TV movie. We all love TV movies. But yeah, this is, and I honestly think that the TARDIS in the title sequence, and when they show shots of the TARDIS flying, it's the best it's ever looked because it's still practical. It's a good practical TARDIS that they've got a model of it to show it flying, and it looks great. They CGI it now.
Yeah, most of this movie looks great.
Yeah, it does. Well,
It's just
the
so
cum
corny.
stick doesn't look too great, and the wibbly window.
No, the cum stick doesn't look too great. The cum stick doesn't look too great, but like everything else, aesthetically,
Yeah.
it looks quite nice for
It's
its
very
time.
nicely shot. It feels quite cinematic. It does feel quite 90s, but it does feel very much like because the classic series was very much flat lighting, flat shots, just showing you what's happening in the story without much flair. This feels more like art. There's art put into how it's actually shot.
It's because it's Americanized, and wasn't this on Fox? I can't
I have
remember.
no idea. Wasn't Michael Jackson
I think it
supposed to play the Doctor in this?
Michael Jackson. Bloody hell, that'd be.
I think that's one of their. That was. I'm gonna Google it now. Michael Jackson, Doctor Who.
I think this was on. I think it was on Fox.
It feels like it would have been.
Yeah, which was a very bad idea because if you put a sci-fi show on Fox, it will be cancelled. You know that. That's just a fact.
Yeah, yeah. Futurama got cancelled on Fox.
Yeah.
I can't find anything that confirms it, but there is a lot of stuff saying, "Oh yeah, here it is." Michael Jackson was almost Doctor Who.
Bloody hell.
Imagine.
And now let's just never speak Michael Jackson's name again because otherwise people will come for you.
What, like the Master?
Yes.
Oh no.
No, because that's what the internet does. If you talk about Michael Jackson, there's a reason to talk about him and continue talking about
I
him.
can't find anything that confirms it, but there is a lot of. You don't need to know what just happened. The stream people know,
Yeah.
but you don't know.
The stream died. Don't talk about it. Anyway, continue.
So, they steal the part of the clock they need. They run back to the TARDIS, and this is where we have like the full-on climax, where the Doctor needs to plug in.
That's what she said.
Oh yeah. Well, they need to.
Sorry, I'm a child.
They need to plug in the part they stole from the clock to the TARDIS console to fix it and repair the Eye of Harmony and close it and everything and save the world from being destroyed at midnight on the 31st of December 1999.
because that is when everything
Yes.
happens
Well,
in
well,
90s
and
movies.
1963. Those are the 2 years.
Those are the 2 years.
1999 and 1963.
No, those are the two
Oh
days. The
yeah,
31st of December 1999 and the 23rd of November 1963.
yeah. Those are the 2 days. There are no others. So the Master appears in the TARDIS. He manages to hypnotize Grace into knocking the Doctor out. And then when we next see him, he's wearing these huge, like, pompous Gallifreyan robes and going, I thought it would be fit to dress for the occasion. And like the campiest.
Oh, he's so camp
It's
and
so camp.
silly. He's just so silly. And as I said, couldn't take him seriously because no one gives a shit about
He's
Roberts.
so campy in this that he's almost as campy as the Master in season 12.
Yeah.
So
He didn't need to hypnotize Lee though. Can we talk
yeah,
about that? Like
Lee is just thick.
he just sort of he's just been corrupting Lee throughout the course of the movie. And so the Master's got the Doctor tied up because he's like going to steal his body or something. And Lee is saying we're going to take the Master's TARDIS back because the Master has convinced Lee that this is his TARDIS and the Doctor stole it from him. And Lee has his mind changed because the Doctor just keeps on shouting at Lee, "The Master has lied to you. This is my TARDIS
Yeah,
this whole time."
just like
And the way that Lee gets his mind changed is just he listens to this guy who he's been told is evil the
well,
entire
it's just
film.
like Lee's character is that he is gullible. That seems to be it. Like he meets the Master, who's
That's just
clearly
it, yeah.
a weirdo who goes around. He's very sinister and creepy, going, "This man stole my body. I need it back. He's evil. He stole all my possessions." And Lee's just like, "Oh, all right, I guess I'll help you with that." And then he finally meets the Doctor, who goes, "No, that's not true." And he goes, "Oh, okay." Like that's Lee's arc.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so a man who's been obviously evil this entire film has been telling me that he's good, but now I'm seeing a man who's obviously good this entire film who looks all Jesus-y, who's telling me, no, I'm the good one and he's the bad one. And he goes, oh, I was stupid this whole time.
But he's hypnotized Grace.
He's obviously the bad guy and he's obviously the good guy. Oh, I get it now.
What appearance? He doesn't judge a book by its cover. He judges a book by what it happens to be saying at the time.
Yes. Which is not a character.
So the Master's just like manages to hypnotize Grace from a distance. Like I don't know why he wouldn't do this to other people at other times. It's a very OP ability that he has. He just like fully mind controls Grace from across the room without doing or saying anything. In the classic series, he would have to look into someone's eyes and to hypnotize them and go, "I am the Master, and you will obey me." And
Well, because he realizes that Grace is too clever for that because she's a cardiologist.
oh yeah, so he doesn't need to do that, and she just
No, so he has this superpower, so he can just like snap his fingers and go, yeah.
It's very much like in this film, characters literally develop magic abilities because the plot needs them to. Like with the Doctor punching down the door to the morgue, and the Master suddenly can hypnotize someone, like just fully mind control someone with no precedent. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, the beginning of the film is that the Master can turn into a cum snake after he dies for reasons. So yeah, this is a film where if
Also, the Doctor is half human for no
the Doctor
reason,
is half human for no reason.
which gets mentioned like twice. What? Like, I still don't get why that's in there.
Someone just said that you're clearly the Rani.
Oh my god, I was the Rani the whole time.
I think him being half human.
Like chat. Did I miss something? Why is the Doctor half human in this?
I've got a theory that it's to do with because they're clearly trying to Americanize him, making him more relatable. They give him romance. They give him they make him a young pretty boy rather than the old like an older guy. They're clearly trying to bring him down to earth, make him a character that people can get on board with, give him a wider appeal. And I think making him not literally an alien is part of that. I think making him half human is It's part of that design, giving him lots of
maybe because in their Bible for this in the series that they would eventually go on to make, they were going to have this sort of I read that they were going to have this arc where they set up that the Doctor and the Master are brothers and they're searching for their father or some
I
shit like
remember
that.
you talking about this. I don't remember what video it's in, but I still remember this is
Yeah, it might have been in the special. It might have been in the special features on the
there are
DVD. I can't remember.
two
I can't remember where it came from. But if they'd made that, it would have been worse than Timeless Children. I'm going to
there are
say that
two
here.
parts of your videos that replay in my brain like a lot, and one of them is the part where you describe the series that apparently would have been made if this movie had been a success afterwards.
I'm quite impressed that you have that ability because I forget everything that I say the second I've said it.
It's just the way you said it stuck with me for ages. It's apparently in the series, the Master and the Doctor are brothers who are searching for their father, who is called Ulysses.
Oh yeah. Because cultural reference.
Yeah, that's what would have happened if
Oh,
this had been-
I've just seen in the chat. I've just seen in the chat. The original script was about the Doctor finding his deadbeat dad
Oh my god, that's such a thing that they would write. Oh,
in the
and his
90s.
dad is mentioned in this film as well.
He does say I'm half human on my
Yeah,
mother's
but
side.
he mentions his dad. He mentions spending time on Gallifrey with his dad.
Oh yeah, spending time on Gallifrey with his dad. Yeah.
So I guess they were setting that up right from the off.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe the Doctor being half human stuff was more set up for the series that
Yeah.
never got off the ground because of this.
Yeah, I mean, this clearly wanted to be a series. It's a one-off thing for people who don't know. There were no other episodes in this sort of Paul McGann Doctor Who. But
Outside Big
yeah,
Finish,
outside
of
Big
course.
Finish, none with this like production company and like angle. But
Who still have the rights to
And-
Grace, which is why she's never been allowed
Oh,
to appear in anything
really?
like this.
I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Yeah, the rights to Grace are tied up in this movie.
That's a bit funny actually. So
Yeah. There's a cut of this movie which ends with the Doctor and Grace flying off into time and space, and the version of the version of this movie which exists and which is on all the DVDs where like they where he leaves Grace on Earth in the end. But there is a cut of this movie which ends with them flying.
is that available
Space.
anywhere?
I don't know, but I remember reading about it.
I want to see that.
I think I've remembered. I think it got uploaded to YouTube once. This is like way back in the day when I was a stupid teenager.
Doctor Who TV movie, deleted scenes. I'll watch these later. But
No, it cuts at that bit where they where the Doctor bangs on the TARDIS and it starts flying.
oh my god.
It
Hang on.
just cuts off the last like 3 minutes.
No way.
What?
Well, no, I searched up.
Am I right?
Well, no. So I searched up. Well, maybe you might be. I don't know. But
I'm wrong about
I
lots of
searched
things.
up-
I admit that.
I searched up Doctor Who TV movie deleted scenes. There's a deleted scene of the Master actually spunking on those guys.
You're shitting me. Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in chat. They don't show the actual.
Wait, what?
They show him finding the guards and they're still
Wait,
alive.
what? You're
No.
You're
They-
fucking serious.
they-
You're
they-
fucking serious.
They
Oh
show
my
him finding them.
God. I thought you were joking.
They show him finding the guards, and they don't actually show the spunkification, but they show like him doing a knowing smile.
Oh my god, is
It's
this real?
well.
Oh my god! Fucking.
I put it in chat for anyone who's curious.
Oh my
That's the security
Oh my
guards
God.
pre-spunk.
Oh my god, they should have actually shown that. Practical effects.
Oh wow. Oh, there's an original title sequence here as well. I'll watch all this later. But
Yeah. Anyway, where
so
we?
they're in the TARDIS trying to close the Eye of Harmony. Leah's been convinced that the Doctor is actually the good guy now. Grace is hypnotized, and the Doctor's going like, "Lee, you have to." Oh no, Master, you have to let Lee go. It's his last chance or something. And the Master, in this exact voice, goes, "What do you know of last chances?" That stuck with me. It's Yes. And then the Doctor breaks free. Oh, there's a really weird oddity in this that I'm not sure if you would have noticed. Right? You've not said anything for like half a minute. Are you alive? Hello.
Hello?
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here.
You scared me, Stu. So there's a weird oddity in this. Oh, the stream's now longer than the film. Great. So,
Hooray, we
you
did
know in
it!
the End of Time, where the 10th Doctor regenerates, in that story, there's a scene where the Master, now played by John Sim, turns everyone into him. And everyone on Earth becomes clones of the Master.
The Master race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they,
You get it?
Yeah. Ooh. They do this really corny effect where when everyone is transforming, their heads spin from side to side, and their faces transform in the motion blur, so you can't really see the transformation. When their heads stop spinning, they're the Master. Right? That's the effect. When the Master in this is trying to steal the Doctor's body in the climax, and they show the Doctor's energy streaming into the Master and the Master transforming into Paul McGann, it's the same effect. His head starts doing the buzzy swizzy thing.
Do you think that's a reference?
It's weird. I don't. It seems very specific to have been done by accident.
Yeah. There is and there's a reference in this scene which I thought was quite wonderful, where the Master stops the Doctor from the Doctor stops the Master from doing that, and then the Master just sort of lunges on the Doctor and he's choking him, trying to shove him into the Eye of Harmony, and the Doctor says that you've wasted all your lives, or something to that effect. And then the Master says, "Life is wasted on the living," which is a Douglas Adams reference.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a hitchhiker's quote. From someone's ghost saying, "As I always say, life is wasted on the living." I mean, the context is completely different, but it is a hitchhiker's quote.
Nice. Douglas Adams should have written this.
Yeah, he should have done. I forgive you for that opening scene of Destiny of the Daleks, Douglas Adams.
Oh, did he write that?
I think it was. I think that was supposed to have been Douglas Adams' fault. I don't know, but yeah. I enjoyed that. It was wonderful.
So, the Doctor stops the Master from at the last minute from transforming into him, and closes the Eye of Harmony, pushes the Master into the Eye of Harmony, and he gets sucked in, presumably to survive and go on and do many things later. I mean, well, we know that happens, so yes.
Well, that always happens to the Master. His return never gets explained, ever.
Yeah, I wish they'd stop doing that. Like people now use it as an excuse. What do you expect? It's the Master. Of course he survives without explanation. I'm like, that doesn't. The fact they've done it before doesn't make it
true,
good
but
now.
you can do that. Yeah, but you can do that now, because with streaming box sets and everyone's aware of everything.
Yes.
Whereas back then you didn't really have much of an idea about continuity.
Exactly. It's a different time. Audiences have different sensibilities now. You can't just keep doing this. You can't show a character dying every episode and have them come back if you want it to be taken seriously.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. I can forgive the TV movie for that, because this is very primitive and clearly an experiment.
So then, we get then it ends. Really,
Yeah, then it ends. That's pretty much it. Yeah, and as I said, there is the bit where Grace says something about flying off into time and space. Then the Doctor's trying to fly the TARDIS, and then it won't work, and then he bangs on it, and it does work.
So we get some gorgeous scenes of Paul McGann just walking around the TARDIS, which look great. He's being himself. It's nice to actually see the Eighth Doctor for once.
Just being him, yeah, it's nice.
And he is very well established as his Doctor in this. I honestly wish they'd taken it more with the angle that he's presented in this film. I wish they'd taken it more in that direction in the Big Finish plays, because the characteristics that he chose in this sort of get stripped down in his Big Finish stuff, and he's a great Doctor, but he doesn't have as much of that sort of romanticized poet sort of angle in the Big Finish plays.
No, that is true.
And I miss that.
It's because they gave him big, cumbersome plots to deal with.
There's no more monologues where he's going, and the sky was dancing with lights, and I like that.
No, there isn't really that much of that. No.
So yeah, you can tell how much they wanted this to start a full-on series, because in the opening credits of a standalone film, they credit people as guest stars. Like, it's written with special guest star this person.
Special guest star Eric Roberts.
But
the specialist of guest stars.
That's the TV movie. I'm curious if anyone in chat hasn't seen it and is now just like, what the fuck?
Well, what the fuck are you talking about? About the Master spunking on people?
Anyone in chat who hasn't actually seen this film, let me know how this stream has got done for like first impressions of what it is. It's very much a precursor to New Who. It feels like very. It feels very much like.
It's an experiment.
It didn't really
and I like
work,
that about
though.
it. No, it didn't. It didn't work at all. But it was an experiment, and I like that about it.
I don't quite like
it's
how
different.
It's what the experiment is like, can we remove a lot of the stuff that makes Doctor Who unique to give it like a wider audience appeal?
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. But I agree with that. But it's interesting. It's as I said, it's Doctor Who that's been reverse engineered into a cop, and that's. There's something I admire about a bunch of Doctor Who fans trying to get this made into a series and thinking, okay, how are we going to get a bunch of stupid airheaded TV executives to say yes to this?
If we
there's effort being put in. I can see them trying. Yeah.
If like, because this is like, this came out like what, 20 years ago, 30, 25. I could look back at it and laugh, but if this was like the newest episode of Doctor Who, I would not be happy.
No, and as I said, the potential series that they would have made out of this would have been worse than Timeless Children.
So yeah, it does have. Oh yeah,
I see this in perspective.
Well, it depends. I don't know. Timeless Children really
probably
isn't
would have
good,
been.
But
no, it's really
it's
very
the point
not
where
good.
you're just like, I mean, I think they'd just both be a
And
1 out of 10. Like.
And I'm still fucking mad about the fact that I was one suffering from software problems and also probably coronavirus when I was doing that.
Which stream? Oh yeah.
The Timeless Children stream that we did ages ago.
I might be suffering from coronavirus now. I've had a headache for 2 weeks and a cough.
Who knows? Yeah.
That's the thing. Apparently, it's like a lot of people don't realize that they have it because they don't have a fever. So I know it's possible. I've had a headache for a very long time.
Yeah, it was such a good idea for the government to not do anything for weeks and
really
let it and let it infect everyone. That's such a great idea.
But yeah, we've done the TV movie.
But anyway, let's not talk about that. Yeah, we've done the TV movie. That was nice.
What do you want to do in the next one?
Rob Shearman's Dalek. That's a good one. I love that.
We can play a relevant clip in that one as well, which we won't spoil. But it's an exciting clip.
It's an exciting
that none of you will have seen.
None of you will have seen. Yeah. That was nice.
That was nice. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to the ramblings. Practice responsible social distancing.
Send Jay gay Doctor Who porn.
Yes, that. And on that note, we will end.
And on that bombshell, we will end.
This will be archived to a second channel, which is linked in the description, along with Stu's channel, if you want to check out those things.
Oh yeah, subscribe to my channel and give your local food bank money.
But other than that, goodbye.